Welcome. Welcome back to this slow spiral into insanity.
Hi, I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
And unfortunately not the hot one.
Who's the... Oh, yeah, okay. We just
Tom
that.
Hardy, that god among men.
no. I can't compete with that.
I'd let him get in my cockpit.
I could appreciate
that was a Dunkirk joke.
Dunkirk was okay.
Anyway, we're back at it with Atlanta Knights.
Kill me.
Oh, come on, this is not near the worst thing we've read.
I know it's
not the worst thing I've read solo.
Well, no, but it's the longest thing we've read, and it's grating on me.
Also not the longest thing I've read solo. You know, at some point, I will actually make sure to check out a copy of Ready Player One. And just so everyone knows, when I do, I will be doing a special on it in which I am reviewing it.
Oh boy, okay.
Anyway,
book,
chapter
right?
23. Irene Stevens nibbled at her sautéed crab cake. It was nestled in a mild golden curry sauce and garnished with microbasil. And glanced at Bruce Lucent, who was sitting at the head of the 42-seat table with his wife. God, who needs a table with that many seats?
Bruce fucking Lucent, of course.
I'm Bruce fucking Lucent. Is that the new I'm the goddamn Batman? Goddamn
Yes.
terrible lines.
Yes.
What's this car called? The Batmobile. It's kind of a stupid name. What are you, retarded? All-Star Batman and Robin is a piece of garbage. Anyway.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was the one saving grace in that one. Or wait, was that something else?
I think you're thinking the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Because that was the Frank Miller New 52 Batman.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, Frank Miller. This is the one in which Batman and Robin, Dick Grayson, age 12, painted an entire bunker and themselves yellow and then told Green Lantern to meet them there. Bear in mind, the Green Lanterns are actually, trained to get around the yellow weakness, so really all he would have needed to do in that situation is fly out of the bunker, grab a car, and throw it at the bunker.
You see, this is part of why I don't like the New 52.
This is part of why I fucking hate Frank Miller.
Hey.
Dude's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Anyway. With his wife, that positively ancient Callie Archer with her glossy raven hair. That had to be Miss Carol or Irene, wasn't the reigning Georgia Peach Princess for 2003. What? And her gravity-defying 38 double D boobs. Bruce, who had the studliest body ever. Everyone uses this line for Bruce.
I mean,
Studliest body ever, but a face like a turnip.
Okay, that's probably my favorite line now.
Round and a little purple around the bottom where his skin was recovering from the laser peel to get rid of those nasty acne scars. He's in the middle of a long, boring presentation about his newest software package. Package. Mawage.
I believe Packwidge is a town in Europe somewhere.
Mawage.
Marriage is what brings us together.
Is that the Princess Bride?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For some reason, I was thinking either that or Spaceballs, but now I'm remembering the priest from Spaceballs was just done with this shit. All right, is anyone getting married here or not? Someone's getting married here. I don't care who.
Oh, man.
You,
Space.
I do. You, I do. Great. Kiss.
Yeah, that's Spaceballs. I forgot about that. I need to watch that movie again.
I own it.
It's a good movie.
Loose Lips? That's the name of the software package. Loose Lips.
Yeah, spelled like the first part of his name, Lucent. How creative.
Loose Lips. Why would you name anything that?
He doesn't have to explain anything to you. He's Bruce fucking Lucent.
Fuck you. An interactive speech recognition program. Of course, it's speech recognition that has the title Loose Lips. That could do everything from read your morning newspaper to book your lunch reservation. So it's Alexa?
I mean, I guess so.
What do you want, Frankie? Just huffed at me. What do you want?
Probably attention.
Probably.
At this point in the long presentation, too long as far as Irene was, Chef Joel himself clapped his hands to his mouth in amazement. You mean a computer reserved my special cellar room for this function? The handsome and dashing chef gasped, smiling broadly, and everyone sat down their salad forks and applauded with appropriate little oohs and ahs and titters of appreciation. It was enough to make a girl gag. You and me both, sister.
How's the crab cake? Rory Edwards asked.
Rory Edwards, 60, but he didn't look a day over 40, not with that absolute hard body, was Irene's
so
best, and at the moment only, friend in the whole sunny state of Georgia. She just didn't understand why other girls didn't like her. All the men she met did. I mean, well,
maybe you just need to find yourself a nice lesbian.
that
was nope. Whoops.
What?
Might have been a bit far of a joke there. I mean, granted, it's implying that the only reason people hang out with her is to sleep with her, so.
I mean, that's basically everyone in this book, so it's not too far of an assumption.
In answer, Irene popped a bite of the crab cake into her mouth and gave a little shivering moan of ecstasy. That little shiver made her ample bosom quiver on an even larger scale, causing the computer geek across from her to nearly poke himself in the cheek with his fork.
That image is
I
hilarious.
have now just read the most stupid image I've ever seen.
I almost poked myself with a fork.
Because I was distracted by tits. Seriously, how old is this motherfucker? 12?
I think he's 18.
And he has no excuse.
Well, you do a lot of growing up between 18 and 23, so he could just be extraordinarily immature.
Unless he's been going exclusively to all-male schools his entire childhood.
Or he's just a pervert. That's also a possibility.
Well, then he's shittily written. Now, there was a man who could stand some buzzing with a laser. The unibrow simply had to go. And that tattoo, Unix rules.
What the fuck?
Was just too icky for words. Especially on his neck. Imagine having to look at that every single day of your life.
It's delish, Irene simpered. Thanks so much for bringing me, Roar.
Rory Edwards' tanned cheeks turned pink in response to her use of her pet name for him, Roar. That answer your question?
It's a stupid name. Why would you?
It's not the best. It's not the worst pet name. I mean,
no, by all means, no.
But at the same time, this is coming from someone who used car, so.
Well, okay.
And he took off his spectacles and polished them feverishly. Something he always did, Irene noticed archly whenever she paid him a compliment. He looked pretty darn good for 60, thought Irene. She'd always thought golf was an even bigger bore than computers, but Rory Edwards was living proof positive the sport had something going for it. Either that or Rory was sinking his considerable fortune into liposuction and facelifts.
I mean, that's a big possibility, especially in this world they've built in this book.
There's no need to shame someone for plastic surgery.
Oh, I know, but like, just
I'd hate to see what would happen if one of those people that's always like bitching about other people getting plastic surgery go to South Korea.
just
It's really it's like normalized there. Like basic, like the majority of people, you actually get like recommended to get plastic surgery before a job interview there.
yeah.
I'm not kidding.
I mean, guess it shouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I can.
It's not like they're hurting anyone.
They're not. Yeah, they're not. It's just I just don't understand why anyone would do that.
It's just a whole thing of like, if you're gonna do something like that, just don't go too far, and also be honest about it. And don't be like fucking SS Sniper Wolf or some shit, going like, I never got a nose job, despite the fact that it's clearly pretty obvious that you did.
Yeah, no, it's just
it's kind of like the whole thing of like people doctoring their pics when they're being like Instagram models, shit like that. It's like, if you're going to alter your pics, be honest. Like, own up to it when someone calls you on it. Don't be like, what? I never.
Yeah, it's.
Like, there's nothing wrong with altering your pics. Like, it's just the whole thing.
Well, yeah, no, I mean that's kind of a given in like photography, like patching up blemishes here and there, and just.
Like, I think the person who did the best job of like showing how you should react to stuff like that is, I can't remember his name, but he's the first male cover girl. But someone like called him out for doctoring a pic he posted to Instagram, and he owned up to it. Was like, yeah, I did use some like filters and Photoshop on this, like to like beautify it.
I mean, any professional photograph you see has gone through something like that. Just because Photoshop is a wonderful tool.
A selfie of him at like a McDonald's or something.
Well, I mean, my sister takes
selfies. Not a professional photograph, although his makeup game is on point.
Yeah, my sister takes photographs of different things, and she'll like patch them up with like not exactly Photoshop, but other things, adding filters and stuff. Even if she did just post it just as itself, it would be an excellent picture. But like, yeah, no, I mean.
It's all part of art.
Yeah. And
when you get down to it, depending on your definition, the work that goes into it could easily cause like those Instagram model pics to be classified as art.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things. Photography is definitely an art medium.
Oh, yes.
And that's one of the things I had a problem with one of my art teachers. First year of college, she was like, I don't get why photographs are considered an art medium. Anyone can snap a picture. It takes talent to paint. And it's like, okay.
It takes talent to get your fucking white balance down and shit.
Yeah, no, I'm still working on that. I'm okay at taking pictures, but I can always improve. And then again, my sister,
get angles right, timing right. You have to make sure that everything's like at the right fucking spot and shit, angles, all that shit. Like,
and sometimes it's even more complex than mixing pigments for paints.
And don't even get me started if you want to take a picture of something that's alive.
Oh God, that's part of why I like still life. It's easier
like
to take pictures of.
You see of like when someone managed to catch like this perfect shot of like a butterfly or ladybug or some shit. It's like, holy.
Oh my God, I have the utmost respect for nature photographers who do stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like just
it's the whole thing of like, I mean, it's one of those things that's always just kind of funny. Like, you end up having those people that like get upset whenever someone doctored their photograph or some shit. Who really cares?
As long as it's pleasing to the eye, that's all that should matter. Like, interest.
And as long as they like own up to it.
Yeah, no, that just makes me respect them even more. It's like, cool, you know how to use Photoshop and you know how to take pictures. That's great.
Like, that's one of those things. It's like, I have a lot less issues with like the people who do like TNA photographs that are at least like, they know, like they own up to the fact that that's what they're doing, as opposed to that person that's just like, oh, I'm just taking a picture of my socks. I thought they looked nice. I've got my entire leg up on the countertop, making sure you could see the curvature of my ass and thighs.
There's a story behind that, isn't there?
Have you not seen those pictures? It's like that whole thing of like, oh, yep, just wanted to show off my nails, and they got like their hand cupping their tit. That's like the whole thing. If you're gonna post a pic like that, own up to it. Like, hey, I wanted to. Hey, look at this picture of my tit.
Eh.
That sort of thing I have a lot more respect for than someone that's being like, yeah, I just got these.
Hey, yeah, no, I guess, yeah. Well, I guess I've never really seen pictures like that. Now that you're mentioning it, though, I have seen some that are like that. So I know what you're talking about, I guess.
Like, there is no problem with like putting pictures of yourself out.
Oh, no, not at all.
Like, the only negative thing that's going to come with that territory is a bunch of fucking creeps talking about how much they want to rail you. Yeah. But that's going to happen no matter what when you put pictures of yourself online.
Yeah. That's
like
one of my favorite examples.
One of my favorite examples of this is some girl who just like put a picture of like her new headphones on. Like, she wasn't even in the picture. Just put a picture of her new headphones and someone commented, see you wearing that and nothing else.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's my line, isn't it?
Yes.
Bruce Lucent aimed the laser pointer he was holding at the giant screen and said, "Next slide, please," in his slightly boyish, but not in a bad kind of way, voice. But instead, the silver and black Lucent banner, instead of the silver and black Lucent banner, an error screen popped up.
Why did I imagine, like, when they said his slightly boyish, that his voice cracked? Next slide, please! At the same moment, a woman's sultry voice issued from the speakers. Oh, Bruce, darling, I'm afraid something's gone terribly wrong.
The raven-haired beauty sitting beside Bruce made a wide-eyed... Mo? Is that how you say that?
Mo... Okay, I'm looking this up.
I don't know if that's a word or not.
Like, it seems just vowel heavy enough to be French. But I'm not sure. Pouting expression. It's pronounced moo.
Moo. A wide-eyed moo of a...
expression used to convey annoyance or distaste.
No. The raven-haired beauty sitting beside Bruce made a wide-eyed moo of astonishment and shook her magnificent mane of raven hair. What? Raven hair! Why, Bruce, darling, she cried, smiling wildly, her teeth like snowy chickens.
Our teeth like chickens.
Look at all those chickens.
Whole chickens.
Oh, man, that made me happy. And her lips like glossy red satin pillows and pointed to the computer to make sure even the dumbest of the dumb got the joke. That's my voice.
Irene stifled the urge to roll her eyes and stick her finger down her throat and pantomime a person throwing up. Oh, as if, she thought. Could any of this be more fake?
Oh, boy. Bruce cleared his throat and frowned in mock displeasure. He tipped his head on one side, stroking his rugged chin with his long fingers. Fingers that looked as if they really knew how to pleasure a woman, Irene thought dreamily.
Irene, stop!
Stop! What are you doing? Stop!
I don't want to think about this 18-year-old finger blasting someone.
Oh, here it gets more uncomfortable, it looks like. She squirmed a little in her chair, entertaining racy fantasies about what she'd like to do with a studly body like Bruce Lucent's.
He's 18!
But Llytic, he's legal!
Pedophile!
Bruce opened his voice to give him... But before Bruce could speak, the computer... But before Bruce could speak, the computer voice that was exactly the same as Callie Lucent asked in a husky drawl that sounded like she'd been positively gargling straight tequila. What can I do to make it up to you? It sounded, Irene thought with an uncharacteristic lack of charity, as if Callie Lucent's computer voice was asking if Bruce wanted a blowjob. Okay.
What can I do for you? What can I do to make it up for? Stabbing ferociously at her crab cake, Irene pretended for a moment that the golden sauced crustacean cake was Callie's face. Her oh-so-perfect Baptist face.
What? Baptist?
Baptists have different faces from other people? I'm confused.
They think they have different personalities, but not faces.
I mean, granted, as someone who has been ambushed by a pair of Mormons in the complete pitch black moonless night, I can tell you that there are some terrifying faces out there, but I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, no, you can't just profile like that. I mean, you can, but it's wrong.
Let's see. Clear of wrinkles, clear of unsightly hairs, clear of pimples. I'm pretty sure you can shave.
Yeah.
And with enough foundation, you might be able to.
Probably.
Me again. Don't put me again, Frankie. I swear you to me. Anyway. The arrogant woman, Irene's hand crept to her chin to surreptitiously fondle the hard red zit that was swelling under her creamy.
What is wrong with us today?
I swear English is my first language. I had a reverse English moment. Also, if it's the way it's described, it sounds less like an actual zit and more like an abscess.
Ugh.
I fucking hate the summer. I mean, I hate spring. Because during spring, I end up with an abscess on one of my earlobes and one on, like, my forehead. And I know it's that, not a zit, because it doesn't connect to the surface.
That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. It was the kind of zit that hovered under the surface for days, not really showing but feeling. If you touched it, which Irene did about a zillion times a day, to see whether it was forming a head or not. Sometimes Irene hated being a mere 22, even if it did mean she could go braless without worrying she'd look like she was carrying 2 droopy watermelons under a trendy Donna Karen tank top.
You know, she was seeming like the most reasonable one at first, then it started spiraling, now it's just spiraling.
Look at that like that, Frankie. With your snaggletooth face since you lost a canine. She had firm, upright breasts. The use of the phrase upright just makes me think they're just going in the completely wrong direction. Ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but your tits are sagging up.
Oh, jeez.
Just whoop. It's like, I'm not gonna go into the joke. It's nope, not worth it.
No, let's not.
The left was just a teensy tiny bit bigger than the first. Something her doctor told her not to worry about. It just made them more kissable, he assured her as he pleasured her atop the examining table, her feet in the stirrups, his hand over her mouth to stop her unstoppable little cries of ecstasy.
Okay, that sounds like a bad touch.
The way she's described... I mean, whether or not it is all depends on being touched.
Yeah, I mean...
When you get down to it, it's like, what, do they want this or not? I'm not sure how gynecological... I'm not sure how high, like, fucking your gynecologist is ranked on the list. Oh, yeah. I can't imagine it's too high.
Yeah, that just...
It's uncomfortable and his hands are clammy.
Ugh. Yeah, no, I'm going to keep reading. Irene's nostrils flared with delicate disdain as she glared at Callie Archer's ample bosom. There was more silicon floating in that woman's chest than there was in the laptop computer Bruce Lucent was showing off this very minute to the 2 men at the table. Irene wondered momentarily who they were and if they were as well-to-do as Bruce. One of them, Irene could tell she was a computer geek from the fact he was wearing a Star Trek t-shirt under his sports jacket.
Is it a she or a he?
I think it's a he. A jacket so old and tatty it had shiny elbows, and blue jeans from Gap. There was even a plastic strip running down the leg that said 38, 38, 38, 38 all the way down his calf, was engrossed in whatever was on the screen. The other, a young red-headed man with ginger freckles and a studly body but a really ugly face and the worst teeth Irene had ever seen on a man, was... Is it ogling or ogling? I never know that. Okay, that's how I've always said it, but I've never been certain. Was ogling the 5 or 6 acres of cleavage Callie Lucent was displaying.
That's a lot of cleavage.
Irene sniffed. That any woman over 40 would dare wear a Betsy Johnson, especially in a high-end upper-class place like Joel's, positively reeking of good taste, was just unthinkable. All she needed to complete the ensemble, Irene thought with uncharacteristic sarcasm, was a pair of castanets and a guitar player shouting, "Olé!"
Well then.
That's just...
That made her smile as she dabbed her glossy lips delicately with her napkin. Good thing she'd remembered to use the new Clinique Stay the Day lipstick. This episode of What Are We Reading has been sponsored by Clinique.
Hold on a sec.
What?
Something.
Before once more putting her attention back on her crab cake. Swirling a forkful in the mild golden curry sauce, she took a bite. It really was scrumptious, but if she ate the whole thing and le pote chocolat, served with the crème fraîche, sorbet, and the rolled sugar wafer cookie she'd been eyeing on the menu, maybe the delicious sounding crème caramel, with the honey vanilla ice cream and a sweet almond wafer cookie, they both sounded so good. And a couple more glasses of this positively yummy $19.99 Marcinet Rosé from Domaine de Claire, Claire in Burgundy, France. She'd either have to skip dinner tonight or march right into the washroom and throw it. Oh God, that's dark.
No, don't do that. That's not healthy.
Please don't, no. As someone who has no.
That's unhealthy.
Very, yes.
Don't do that to yourself. Just don't.
I mean, I understand, like, it gives people that sense of control over their own body, but it's,
Hey. Suddenly, just like he was right there across the table from her, his laugh lines deep as the Grand Canyon and his merry eyes twinkling like stars, Irene could hear her dearly departed and oh so deeply missed dead lover, Henry Archer's gruff down-home rumble. If and y'all are gonna just upchuck it the second y'all finish eating it, Reenie Bean, what's the gold dang point of spending this kind of cash on lunch?
Well, aside from that god-awful pet name.
This is so stupid. Can she see ghosts? Bean? Can she see ghosts too?
I think she's just going insane. Dude,
that's also a possibility.
Lack of food. Her china blue eyes welled with tears. Oh, Daddy Hank, she thought. He wasn't really like her real daddy. Well, given the context, I wasn't assuming. It's Georgia, not Alabama. I already am fully familiar with people calling other people daddy.
Yeah, no, I know that's a thing.
Safe word is harder. But since he'd been so much older than she and took better care of her better than her real daddy ever did, never hitting her except when they played Spanky Pants.
Oh my God. It gets worse. Oh boy, it gets worse.
Spanky Pants. It never forcing her to do anything she didn't honestly truly want to, except when they played Rape Me Till I Okay, that's a lot less funny.
That was what I was saying. It gets worse.
Or maybe sometimes when they play good till the last drop.
When
Which really wasn't her favorite game, to tell the honest truth, and never ever calling her horrible, cruel names like Daddy's little blow-up doll.
This is,
Look, if this kind of stuff is your bag, no shame on you. I mean, like, so long as you're keeping it to role play. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Like the humiliation games and that sort of stuff, it's just like humiliating names and shit. Like, I don't know, fucking Brat and shit. No, Brat is more when they're purposely trying to get punished. Point is, just so long as your part, like both of you are into it, it's not just one of you. And it is roleplay. Like, if the line, "you like that, don't you little whore," is going to be used, make sure that's because it's both your mutual kink for one of you to be called a whore.
Yeah. We speaking words from Chad Thundercock here, or?
Well, I mean, that was just my personal opinion, but I'm pretty sure Chad Thundercock would agree.
Yeah.
Don't you? Fuck, I don't have the energy to do the voice.
Yeah, let's...
Oh, fuck, I ruined the illusion. Now everyone's going to know that it's not an actual person, it's just me doing a voice.
Oh, the horror. We
no,
didn't know that.
All the children, their dreams have been crushed.
All 7 of you.
Well, I mean, memory serves, we are up to 40 now.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
How could you leave me like that, my sweet daddy Hank, without even saying goodbye to your darling Reenie Bean?
That's just a stupid name. Just, I mean...
Look at my trucker hat. You know what I'm referencing.
Yes.
It had 6 months, but not a day went by that she didn't miss her darling daddy. It was, in fact, why she was sitting there in Swanky Joel's restaurant. Today was their first anniversary.
Well, it would have been their first anniversary. That is, if Henry Archer hadn't been so tragically killed in that tragic car accident. Could it really be 6 months since he'd been killed so tragically? It seemed like only yesterday they were snuggling on his big, round, king-size bed, or kissing in his kidney-shaped pool, or just holding hands like a pair of giddy freshmen away at college.
Oh, God. Why do you keep staring at me? You want attention? That it? Well, meat-filled tube sock? That was Daddy Hank had still been married to that positively vulpine Callie Archer. Then. Vulpine was Irene's new word of the day. Weird way to say foxy.
It's a word.
One of many self-improvement things Irene was doing to improve herself so she could rise above the red dirt poor country-style life she'd grown up in. But she obviously wasn't satisfying him. Not like a real woman could. Oh, God, no, she's a nice girl.
Well,
not like I could. Thought Irene, tossing her glorious mane of flaxen hair with invexation. There was no one in the world she aided more than Callie Archer, who used to be married to Daddy Hank before he met Irene and found out what true love was. Daddy Hank had promised to leave his wife for Irene. He'd even started the divorce proceedings. But then he died so tragically in that tragic car accident before he could change his will. Quite tragic, honestly. Before he could divorce Callie, before he could marry his beloved Reenie Bean. I'm sorry, that name is always going to stop me in my tracks. And make an honest woman out of her. Because, that's not an uncomfortable phrase.
And then, to add insults to injury to make matters worse, that's what insults to injury means, as if they could never get any worse, the straw that broke the camel's back was when Callie turned around and married Bruce Lucen just a week after poor Daddy Hank died.
She moves fast.
Yep. Callie inherited everything, and Irene was left practically penniless. Callie even canceled the lease on that cute little Lexus coupe Daddy Hank had given Irene. The merciless, heartless, cruel witch. It was enough to make Daddy Hank turn over in his grave, if he had a grave, that was, but he didn't, being cremated after all. I mean, cremated people still get graves.
No, they get jars.
Well, yes, but you can bury them. I mean...
It's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, since Callie was too cheap to buy a plot and casket and cement liner, she'd had him stuffed into the cheapest cardboard box the funeral home had and then mailed the box to Irene. Postage due. The arrogant woman.
So, this person who had been married to him had him incinerated, put in a cardboard box, and mailed to his current girlfriend. Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, the more I learn about Callie Archer, the more of a terrible person she seems to be.
Well, you learn about everyone.
Yeah.
Let's see. If only there was a way to make her pay. Oh, shit. Okay? Oh, okay? Okay? And I, like, hitting a nerve on accident? Okay? Sorry about that. Sometimes you scratch him in the wrong area and he squawks.
That happens sometimes.
If only there was a way to make her pay, Irene thought, fiercely fighting back the tears that welled in her lovely china blue eyes. If only there was something I could take away from her.
Bruce Lucent was finished his part of the presentation, nodding and smiling at the applause. As his technical assistant took over explaining the technical parts of the software, Bruce put his hand on Callie's shoulder and back in a sec, hun. Then he headed out of the 42-seat private chef's room, which was just off the kitchen. It had beautiful art, high ceilings, and state-of-the-art technology available to rent, which is probably why Bruce Lucent chose it for his software presentation.
Gonna put you back down on the ground. And suddenly, like she'd been struck by lightning, she was struck by lightning. A light bulb went off over Irene's pretty head, once more patting her glossy lips and tucking her Clinique Stay-the-Day lipstick in the pocket of her chic little Versace number that she'd carefully picked out that morning, knowing it accentuated her voluptuous, perfect size 6 body. Irene slid out of her chair and leaned close to Rory to confide. Just going to powder my nose, Roar. Order me the pot de chocolat, served with the creme fraîche sorbet and a rolled sugar wafer cookie, will ya?
She had a feeling she'd be hungry when she got back. Did she just think
Just
about...
tell me no. I'm hoping no.
Yeah, that would not be a good twist. But we'll see.
Stephen Suffren eyed the voluptuous young blonde as she left the room, her round ass looking like a juicy Georgia peach in that sexy little number she was wearing. Stephen, a masseuse at Atlanta's Polo Club, had an eye for the ladies, but he liked to bat for both teams. That exact sentence has been used in another paragraph. Another chapter.
Probably.
I think it's literally just part of the description he was given for the authors to work off of.
Well.
Has an eye for women, but he's also bi. In fact, he had his eye on the studly older guy she was sitting with. Stephen had looked around and found out quite a bit about Rory Edwards, who was 60 but didn't look a day over 40. One was that the hard body was just as good without the clothes. No corset for Mr. Edwards. The other was that Rory Edwards was loaded, rich, rolling in the dough, and unattached. Shit, I ain't saying he's a gold digger, but he ain't messing with no... Anyway, I'm gonna cut myself there.
The unattached part was the one Stephen was hoping to personally change, and hopefully by this afternoon, supper time maybe, or this evening latest. He is
a gold digger.
Yep, he'd scored a ticket to the $200 a plate luncheon presentation by giving an extra special massage to fat old Mrs. Decatur. He'd never be able to watch the movie Deliverance again without thinking fondly on the moment.
What?
He'd known there would be dozens of fat, rich pigeons at a do like this. No reason he couldn't pluck one. And Mr. Rory Edwards was the perfect pigeon. Stephen had
Did you see his feathers?
Stephen had seen the way his eyes, a lovely chocolate brown behind his spectacles, had kept roving. had kept roving his way. He might have a chubby for the luscious blonde, but put a bat in his hands and he'd nail one out of the park.
Did he just imply that he was going to assault the man? With a bat?
That would make this more interesting, but I don't think so.
I swing both ways, violently, with a bat. Come at me.
Pro Hero Metal Bat.
You saw that picture?
No, I'm talking S-Class Hero Metal Bat from One Punch Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Someone used one of a picture of him, and then they put that post under it.
Didn't know.
Steven, one of the funniest things was I showed it to a friend of mine, and they didn't read the words under I swing both ways, so it was just him making an angry face with the caption, I swing both ways. Stephen rose, unconsciously checking his handsome visage in the mirror for errant flecks of microbasal. He'd had the crab cakes, and made his way over to Rory Edwards. Mind if I sit down and chat for a moment? He asked, his pleasant baritone warm and inviting. He put out his hand and offered a manly squeeze, which Rory Edwards returned with equal fervor. They then used some man tissues and ate some man yogurt.
And did some I don't know. Never mind.
I was just making a joke about those different products that are specifically marketed towards insecure men. Like man-sized Kleenex, or yogurt made specifically for men called Powerful Yogurt.
Dr. Pepper 10.
Oh god, that shit. I forgot about that shit. It's a diet Dr. Pepper, but it's not for women.
Dr. Pepper 10. It's not for women.
This is exclusively for men because men can't handle the idea of drinking a diet soda, because apparently drinking diet soda is just as butch. Obviously, if you drink a diet soda, you don't have a penis.
Cherry Coke Zero is my favorite drink, so.
I mean, I just don't like the taste of diet drinks.
Diet
it's
Mountain
not
Dew,
like some butch thing. Who gives a shit?
Diet Mountain Dew actually tastes better than regular Mountain Dew.
We've already had the whole thing talking about me with the little fucking booty shorts.
Yeah, I mean, what does that have to do with Cokes?
It's the whole thing. I was like, why would I give a shit about whether or not something's marketed towards men?
I tried Dr. Pepper 10 once. It was basically a watered down regular Dr. Pepper, and it wasn't diet Dr. Pepper. And it was like...
Well, the whole thing is it has 10 calories, but it's not a diet drink, because those are for...
Yeah, no, it was at a party. I'm like, Dr. Pepper 10, because they didn't have regular foods. And so I just tried Dr. Pepper 10, and it was not good at all. That's probably why they discontinued it.
Probably. Let me see if I can find the picture. Powerful Yogurt, because apparently yogurt is exclusively for women.
Let's see. My companion will return shortly, Edward stammered.
Just a sec. Let me put this in the Discord. How fucking insecure do you need to have a bowl on your yogurt container? I can't drink regular yogurt. That shit's for broads.
Now,
I need to have yogurt that screams man. I need man yogurt blasted all over my face.
Now that looks like some yogurt I'd try, because I need manly products. Ugh.
I can't get regular fucking yogurt.
Freaking, I don't even like yogurt all that much, honestly.
Delicious.
I mean, some of it's okay, but it's not my favorite thing. So, yeah.
Oh God, sorry. I'm also perusing this one thing, and I just ended up seeing a thing. It's today I saw a shirt that said the United States of America, more like Texas and its 49 bitches. And that's when I realized Texans love Texas, just like Kanye loves Kanye.
Well, they're not wrong. As a Texan, I can
crack the code. Oh, but your people vain about the fact that, oh yeah, we used to be our own country. Yeah, and it immediately plummeted into debt. You had to have the U.S. bail you out. What the fuck are you bragging about?
We can still fly the Texas flag as high as the U.S. flag. So.
Oh, yeah, that's just such a big brag. Ugh.
Eh,
Texas.
whatever.
Steven! Steven slid his hand under the table, expertly flicking the snowy linen tablecloth over Edward's lap to cover the fact that his Edward fingers, his nimble fingers, were now sliding down the zipper of Edward's expensive Ralph Lauren stain-repellent slacks. Well, considering what's about to happen, it's a good thing that they're stain-resistant. Don't sweat it, handsome, he murmured with a throaty growl that made perspiration beads pop out of Edward's surprised face. This won't take long. You know, you should probably, warn someone before you go to give them a handy. Or, ask, hey, you want a hand job?
Oh, come on. No one's courteous in this story.
Don't just surprise someone with a fucking hand job. That's sexual assault.
Irene smoothed the skirt of her natty little Versace. Is that how you say that? Versace number over her curvy
There was an
hip.
entire song about it.
Was there?
Yes, and then Little Pump ripped it off for Gucci Gang.
Okay, then.
Even more reasons to hate Gucci Gang. Not only is it a bad song, but it's a ripoff of a much better one.
I don't know what that is, so... Irene smoothed the skirt of her natty little Versace number over her curvy hips, smiling a secret smile to herself as she re-entered the 42-seat private dining room. She was a little out of breath, and if truths are told, her stay-the-day lipstick hadn't quite held up to its advertised promise of lasting through everything, but otherwise, no one would guess that she'd just moments before been riding Bruce Lucent like a champion bucking bronc riding at a Texas rodeo, his face buried between her firm high breasts that bounced unfettered and free. Quickly?
Yeah. Wow, that was fast. That escalated quicker than the hand job.
Yeah.
There was a young man sitting in Irene's seat, but he jumped to his feet the moment he saw Irene, giving her a smile that showed off his perfect white teeth. He had the most startlingly green eyes, like a cat's, an emerald color that showed off his golden tan and sculpted features. Irene's own china blue eyes strayed down to his crotch, noting with expert quickness that he dressed left and was hung like a stallion. She licked her lips, smiling as she lifted her hungry eyes off its crotch. Surely she'd worked off enough calories with Bruce that she could go for 2 desserts after all. Oh, so that's what it was implying. Okay, that's a lot better.
Yeah, no, I thought it was premeditated.
Burning off calories with sex is a lot better than, making yourself hungry because of bulimia. Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
That's a load off.
Yeah.
And
that's what you were freaking out about.
What did you think I was freaking out about?
I thought you were freaking out I thought you were freaking out that she was premeditating murder, and I was like, well, to be honest, if this guy died...
Why would murder make you hungry?
I don't know. Just implying something.
It's the whole thing of earlier she mentioned the fact that she might vomit up the entire meal later. And then she ends up, saying to the one dude, hey, hey, can you order this? I might be a bit hungry later.
Okay, yeah, now I see where you're getting at, and I understand you're freaking... So
yeah, that's why I was concerned.
Okay, yeah. All right, cleared up anyway.
This is a lot less concerning. Sure, yes. It's adultery, but that's still better than believing.
I mean, everyone's doing that in this book. It's not that big of a deal anymore.
Well, yeah. And even in context is better, but yeah.
You'd never guess what I've been doing, Roar, Irene confided. Sure, the young man couldn't hear her, not realizing that he could indeed, and was hanging on every word. I've just given Bruce Lucent the ride of his life.
Fuck, before I got to. Irene laughed merrily, her laugh like a dozen little tinkling bells, and tossed her magnificent mane of flaxen hair. I followed him into the men's room.
Okay, then.
She said in a purring voice. Got him with his pants down, so to speak. Okay, nope, that's less okay. Do not just... no surprise sex. That is sexual assault.
Rory Edwards just blinked at her, his mouth open a little. Irene laughed again, gaily, enjoying the effect she was having. This would certainly get him in the mood for what she had planned later this afternoon.
I think he's already a bit cooled off.
Mm-hmm.
Might need to give him a little time to read.
Oh, boy.
I pretended I didn't know I was in the men's room and got all flustered and excited, Irene said. So excited my breast just popped out of the top of my Versace. These darn crisscross tops can't hold anything in. And just as he saw my bobbies, that's what Daddy Hank liked to call them.
Oh my God.
Why? Why? I'll be the first to admit I'm not a big fan of the word boobies, just because, I don't know, I just sounds kind of fucking immature. But bobbies is worse.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah.
Plus, whenever I hear boobies, I think of birds.
Yeah, like the blue-footed booby, the one that dances.
Yes. Well, Roar, he just about popped too.
Irene's pretty face was flushed as she excitedly recounted the tale of what had happened in the men's room. I said to him, "Ooh, Mr. President, I've always wanted to try big cigars."
Nah.
Can I have just a teensy little taste? Roar, I thought his eyes were going to fall right out of his head. He was staring so hard, and he couldn't say a word. Just kept making these funny little noises like a puppy on his mama's teeth. So I just went to my knees and went to work.
Just little squeaks?
Hey, don't fucking...
That's a weird description.
And this is only the first chapter we have.
Rory Edwards groped at his pocket for his handkerchief and mopped his sweating face. It was a rather violent red, Irene noticed, but she was having too much fun telling her story to bother asking if he was feeling all right.
Oh, jeez, I have to keep reading this stuff, don't I?
Yes, you do.
You're enjoying this.
Obviously, you're being uncomfortable.
He pulled me to my feet, Irene said, her china blue eyes sparkling at the memory of how manly Bruce had been, and he picked me up and set me on the imported Italian marble countertop and pulled my panties down with his teeth. And oh, Roar, he pleasured me with his probing tongue and nimble fingers. Just when I thought I had reached the utmost peak of bliss, he thrust his throbbing member deep inside my hot little juicy love box. Oh my God!
It could be worse. It could be Chatterbox.
Yeah, it could be.
That movie was terrible.
I don't want to watch it.
There is a weird thing in that the fact that, like, there is literally a genre of just talking vagina movies.
There's a genre of that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And it gets a singing career.
The more you tell me about movies like this, the less I want to watch any of the movies you recommend to me. Fuck you. And pounded me like a snorting stallion on a broody mare. Well, except that a stallion would have had her doggy style or horsey style, I guess you'd have to say. Oh my God, you are an infant.
If you're Italian, it's sheep style.
Fucking. I lost my place. Hold on. There we go.
Taking her roughly and manfully.
Taking her roughly and manfully from behind, but Bruce mounted me
with
from
his
the
powerful front. Yogurt.
Until I shrieked so loudly and with such unsurpassed abandon that he had to put his hand over my mouth to stifle my cries of ecstasy as he filled me with his steaming love juices.
You probably should have used protection.
Oh, Roar, I have never felt such bliss, such ecstasy, such rapture, such elation, such...
Bear in mind, the person she's talking about having had sex with is 18.
Yes.
Irene stopped, suddenly aware that Rory's eyes had stopped blinking. His hand, clutching his handkerchief, had fallen to his lap, pushing aside the tablecloth that had, until that fateful moment, been covering the fact that his fly was down. It is rather large and still tumescent member was fully exposed in his lap. Ralph Ralph Lauren's stain-free slacks hadn't lived up to their reputation.
Rory Edwards, in fact, had stopped together. His heart, at least. Strained to its very limits from Stephen Suffern's expert ministrations, it had been pushed beyond the very limits of human endurance by listening to Irene's spirited and passionate exposition of her washroom conquest of software developer Bruce Lucent.
Wait, so Stephen didn't let him finish? Oh. Okay, then.
I mean...
Guess they got interrupted.
Well, she did just kind of walk in when Stephen was sitting in her seat, so.
Fair enough. Irene's lovely china blue eyes filled with horror and flew to Stephen Suffer, who had been standing stock still and frozen up with utter shock behind them. Then she began to scream, loud and long, even louder than she shrieked while being pleasured by Bruce Lucent. But this time, no one moved to put his hand over her glossy lips and stop her anguished cry. God damn it!
Okay, then.
Like a ululating siren.
Klaxoning?
Klaxoning! On and on and on and on. She kept it up for a full 23 piercing minutes!
Oh my god.
Minutes! That boy can't handle his grapes.
Oh, this line gets so much better. Keep reading.
Just a sec, I'm looking up these two words. Ululate, howl or wail as an expression of strong emotion, typically grief. And
you didn't know that one?
I didn't.
Klaxon is a type of siren. I don't know if klaxoning is an actual word, but klaxon is a word.
No definitions. All right, just take off the ing. Klaxon, an electric horn or a siren or a similar loud warning device. 23 minutes until the police arrived and a craggy officer finally slapped her to shut the hell up.
To shut her the hell up.
Oh my god.
Shut up.
Oh my god. And we still have one more chapter in this episode.
Unless you want to finish it here.
No.
Okay, fine.
We are keeping up the pace.
Chapter 24. The doorbell rang and Irene looked up from the magazine article she had been reading over and over again for the last half an hour. She would not have been able to tell anyone, not even her best friend Abby O'Neill, what the article was about. Oh, she could have guessed, of course, and said the article was about women's fashion, the latest rage in New York, jodhpurs or henna hand tattoos, but she would have just been guessing. The article was just chicken scratch that her usually well-tuned mind could not comprehend. Her thoughts were of nothing at all, nothing but the death of her lover, Henry Archer.
Never again would their bodies glide together in unison. Never again would she be able to run her fingers along his ample muscles. Never again would he kiss her voluptuous breasts or caress her beautiful blonde hair. Death was the cruelest breakup of all.
Sounds like something from
Henry Archer. So I'm guessing this is Irene again.
Yeah, it said Irene.
Did I say Irene?
Yes. Death was the cruelest breakup of all. That sounds like something from an angsty teen novel. Ugh. The doorbell rang again. What?
A little bit.
Yeah. The doorbell rang again, and Irene came back from her thoughts of Henry. It was all she had left of him. That in the apartment. The mink was also hers. He had been giving to her, and she to him where she could. Very giving. But then Henry had been so handsome. Her best friend, green-eyed, slender Abby, had laughed at the idea of 20-year-old, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Irene dating a 60-year-old, until she had seen his ripped pecs and bulging biceps on the trip to the Cayman Island Henry had arranged for the three of them, and Henry's friend Rory Edwards. Henry spent an hour in the gym every day. His pecs, abs, and biceps were to die for.
Nice. But no longer. Henry was in the ground, dead from the car accident that took his life and that of his Mercedes.
Oh no, the Mercedes. Truly the greatest loss we've had here. Loss.
Both were black and husks now. One buried in the ground of the exclusive Peachboro Cemetery, and the other in a police impound lot. You wouldn't believe which. She would miss that Mercedes.
See, I told you the Mercedes was the greatest thing of value lost that day.
Well, yeah, it's buried in the cemetery.
The doorbell rang a third.
His ashes, his box of ashes is just in the impound. Hey, boss, what do we do with this? Oh.
I'll make a good mantelpiece. The doorbell rang a third time, and Irene stood. She placed the magazine on the end table, its place next to the previous month's issue. All things in their place in Irene's living room. All things in their place.
Her heels clicked on the marble of the foyer. She paused in front of the gold-edged mirror. God damn it.
Close.
Her level, blue-eyed stare answered her look. Her shoulder-length blonde hair was pulled back into a tight bun, the same style she had worn to Henry's funeral. A thin, thigh-length black skirt covered her voluptuous chest and buttocks. I'm sorry, but unless the skirt literally is just like going up to your collarbones and you have like a top, like a blouse over that, it's not a skirt, it's a dress.
Yeah.
Below the perfect hem of her dress, what did I just get done saying? Her legs reached exactly to the floor.
Well, I would hope so.
Her legs reached beyond the floor.
No, she was floating 5 feet off the ground.
Burrowing through the ground below, piercing the earth's core.
That would be uncomfortable.
I don't know. Oh, fuck. You're still not up to date with Steven Universe, so I can't make the reference.
I mean, you can. I just won't get it.
White Pearl.
Oh, yeah, I knew that was a thing.
Just like her no-clipping through something. Irene's no-clipping through the floor.
Oh,
her legs have become part of the level geometry.
Oh, no. It's a Bethesda game.
The 3-inch heels accentuated the bulge of her calf. The mirror had no doubt she was a beautiful, strong woman. Nor would any man have doubted it. Or many women. At least those women so inclined to appreciate a perfect female body. Irene knew many did. Abby, for one. I don't know. In my books, the easiest way to win me over is to be able to bench press me, so that's my type.
Can't argue with that. Checking her eyes one last time for any redness, she pulled open the door and said in her contralto voice, "Yes, may I help you?"
Checking her eyes for redness. Was she high?
She might have been crying. I think that's what it was.
I choose to believe that she was getting stoned.
I mean, that would be funnier.
Yeah, may I help you? Andrew Venice had heard many contralto voices before, but none attached to a woman as beautiful as the one standing right before him right then. Blue-eyed, blonde-haired, round in all the right places. God damn it. Irene Stevens, the mistress of the burnt and blackened millionaire industrialist and ex-bodybuilder Henry Archer.
So he's a bodybuilder. Okay.
Poor taste. Poor taste. Was a sight that sent a shiver down his rock-solid 40-year-old body. What that now blackened old geezer had seen in his 20-year-old beauty was clear. What she had seen in him was money.
Andrew Venice knew her type well. He saw them on Peach Bottom Avenue, the ladies of the night who came out to offer their nylon and fish. Irene Stevens was the same, but her price was higher when she could get it. Looking at the well-filled skirt she wore, Andrew Venice expected that she would fetch that price for a long time to come, until the Botox stopped working and the force of gravity could no longer be fought. Come on, Andrew!
Jesus! Dick!
And despite all that, he is still the most likable character in this book.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I don't know. Well,
No,
that's
Isidore.
if it weren't for the last paragraph, I would have said Henry Archer was.
Yeah.
But that's because Henry Archer's dead. I like him already. Hello, I'm Andrew Vinnis, the police detective. He said in his his deep voice. We met briefly at your friend Henry Archer's funeral.
That's your friend.
Friend.
The look of disgust in his face was obvious. He hated her guts.
Jesus.
Irene knew what Andrew Vinnis was thinking, that she was a high-priced whore, a woman of the night. She was, but it was a velvet night with champagne stars. I don't know what I'm more disappointed. I don't know what I'm more disappointed with. The fact that Andrew's assumption of her was true, or the fact that
there's nothing wrong with selling your body for money.
I know, but like just the whole thing, it's just the way he put it and the way she answered just seems to be like the same thing.
She's a very high-end. I know who you are, and I know what you're thinking, but you're wrong where Irene said, but you're wrong where it counts most.
I bet I am. May I come in, Miss
Couldn't
Stevens?
afford 5 seconds.
Your line.
Oh, do I have a choice? She asked, stepping aside.
We all have choices, Miss Stevens.
You're not helping. Irene led the buff police detective into the living room.
What do you want with me during my time of grief?
Answers, Miss Stevens. Answers to some questions.
Ask your questions, police detective. She sat on the sofa and crossed her legs slowly. The slide of nylon on nylon with the rasp of 1,000 tiny saws.
'Tis a pleasant sound. I'll come straight to the point.
Okay, then.
Phrasing. We know Henry Archer was murdered.
Irene stood, her hand over her left breast. Murdered? How do you know?
The act was good, Andrew thought. Very good indeed. Andrew could almost believe the shock was real.
Forensics, Miss Stevens. Forensics. Yeah, that clears... He just needs some sunglasses that he can just put on.
He just needs some sunglasses and then he'd immediately be in a shitty police procedural.
Yes, I'm Miami's one of my guilty.
I think all of them are shitty police procedurals.
Yeah, no. Another one of my not so guilty pleasures would be Blue Bloods, but that's just a good show.
Well, yeah, but that one's not a stereotypical police procedural. It's based around magic being used to solve crimes.
Wait, seriously?
Have you not seen the majority of police procedurals? Zoom and enhance. Yes, because that's actually a thing that happens. You won't just be getting a more pixelated picture.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Blue Bloods like that.
No, Blue Bloods doesn't use magic to solve crimes.
Yeah, no.
We managed to get a reflection of the people in this photo through the person in the... we managed to get a reflection of the people taking the photo through the... in the eyeball of the person who was photographed. And we're using this to identify them. But how?
Sounds like someone found an eye for an eye, puts on sunglasses.
Yeah! That is like way too high-pitched.
Oh, man. Those are such fun and stupid shows, and I love them.
The problem I have with them is that they're part of the reason why, jurors can be so fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, but that's
like just... Well, you had hair evidence. Sure, most of the hair was actually dog hair, and none of it actually was a genetic match for the person, but there was hair evidence, so clearly they did it.
Yeah, no, that's...
It's part of the reason why the guy who was the show Lie to Me was based off of actually did watch each episode before it went to air to make sure that nothing was inaccurate.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. And sounds also like it's also an interesting thing is he absolutely refused to teach the information he learned about micro expressions and the like to politicians. Because the thing is if you know what to look for when someone's lying that specifically, you know easier how to lie to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what you need to be not doing.
Yeah. And or you could just be honest. I mean, that's always an option.
Dude, we're talking about politicians. Their entire job is literally just to get themselves into a position of power to further their own agendas.
Yeah, good point.
Political parties don't care about any of you. They are literally just there to their own ideals.
Yeah. Hey, the government's bullcrap anyway, so.
And this isn't a left or right thing. Both of them are shit.
Oh, yeah, no, I hate both Republicans and Democrats equally.
Although, fun fact, specifically, I forgot the name. Fascism. Fascism specifically is a rejection of the left.
Yeah.
That is how it works.
Yeah, no, that's why fascism is the extreme right, while anarchy is
Well, it's
the
not even
extreme
technically the right. It's just a rejection of the left. That is literally how it's defined, is an extreme rejection of the left.
Yeah. I guess I could see how that's not really right or left. That's just its own thing.
Yeah, it's literally just a thing of basically trying to give yourself mass amounts of power. While blaming everything on different scapegoats, usually those that could be considered the other.
Sounds like our government.
For example, immigrants. Anyway, forensics. The police detective was watching her closely. He'd meant to startle her, to scare her. Perhaps he suspected her, though the thought scared her and excited her at the same times. Her, Irene Stevens, a suspect in the murder of Henry Archer.
The brakes on his car had been tampered with, Miss Stevens.
The thought of Henry stamping uselessly on the German-made brake pedal on his Mercedes over and over to no avail sent a shiver down Irene's spine. Her stomach clenched at the thought of Henry's last frantic moments. She hoped that his last desperate thoughts were of her. Surely he had not been thinking of his wife, Callie.
How horrid.
Are you sleeping with my slippers? Anyway, indeed. But I face the horrid every day, Miss Stevens.
How do you do it?
With a strong stomach and 1,000 push-ups every morning.
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups,
100 squats, and a 10K run.
Oh man, One Punch Man is great.
That's absolute bullshit.
What? That's what I did.
The actual line is, "You are so full of crap," I think, but
man.
One of the funniest things about stuff like scanlation sites is when they throw in swearing for no reason.
Yeah, no, it's kind of ridiculous.
Now, bear in mind, anyone who has watched this channel has noticed that I am someone who swears a lot.
Yeah, we kind of all are. I have tried to not swear as much, and I have failed miserably.
Well, even compared to you two, I'm pretty sure I swear the most.
Oh yeah, no, that point is that's a.
So when I'm saying, I think you're doing this, I think you're forcing this.
I mean, yeah, I read most of Soul Eater on a scanlation site, and there was so much just random swearing thrown in with a chainsaw, dude. It's like, okay, really, that's not in the manga.
I'm pretty sure. Was it the chainsaw dude? Oh, Soul Eater. Whoops.
Yeah, Soul Eater.
Honestly, one of the funniest things was I read the entirety of Bleach via scanlations.
Oh boy.
And they kept keeping in different Japanese words when they didn't need to. It's it was the word that means specifically best friends. Okay, yes, there is no direct English word for that, but you could just say your friends. They're coming to find you. You could just say, your friends are coming to save you, but they will fail because I will kill. You don't need to specifically use the Japanese word to denote the fact that it's you're very good friends. It's your closest friends.
It's just unnecessary.
If you're using the line, your friends are coming to save you, I think it's kind of implied that they are very good friends.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Is it my line?
Was I the one that said? Yeah, I was the one that said the 1,000. Yeah, so it's...
Yeah, then we went off on that tangent. Okay, my turn then. Irene could see the cut of Andrew, even the dark suit he wore.
He were.
For a police detective, the suit's quality seemed out of place. Italian, if she guessed right. The bulge at his side was not just from the gun in its holster.
Why is it tucked? Wait.
It's in his side, so I'm guessing he has a tumor.
I was about to say, I hope it's not talking about his dick, because boy did he tuck that weird. It's like that one Brazilian mythical creature that is known for having a dick so long that it uses it as a belt.
Yeah.
Andrew continued. What?
That just sounds all sorts of inconvenient.
Yeah, you think so. Andrew continued. Someone with access to the car, someone close to him, someone who knew German cars, someone who perhaps spent a year in the school of Munich and took auto shops there, tampered with the brakes on his car and causing it to caram out of control on Peach Valley Road on that fateful night.
Is Karam a word, or were they trying to say Kareen?
I want to say that it was supposed to be Kareen, but fuck it, I'll Google it.
Mm-hmm.
A term that Google does not like people using.
Okay, then.
Okay, it's a term for, as a noun, it's another term for billiards. And it basically means to strike or rebound as a verb.
I mean, I guess that works, but whatever. I went to school in Germany. I took auto shop.
Gee, I wonder. I know.
But
I know quite a bit about you, Miss Stevens. I know you were Henry Archer's mistress. I know you were one of the last people to see him alive.
When my father was stationed in Germany, we studied the C230 in auto class. Henry drove an E-Series.
Not hard for a dedicated murderer to figure out, Miss Stevens.
I did not murder Henry.
Then who did, Miss Stevens? Tell me and I'll go easy on you. What logic is this? I didn't murder him. Then tell me who did.
I know nothing. I know nothing about it.
A day after Henry's death, you were seen coming out of Rory Edwards' house. It was a lie. Andrew Venice didn't like saying it, but Irene Stevens was a nut he had to crack one way or another. And he didn't mind using all his bastard police detective techniques to do it. Yeah, the fucking forced confession shit.
Rory's a friend of both Henry and I. He was comforting me. Rory even went with us to the
Cayman Islands. Yes, I know that too, Andrew Venice said with satisfaction. Do you know what Archer and Edwards were doing in the Caymans, Miss Stevens?
Yes, of course. We were spending time on the beach, and in the evening we went dancing. It had been an absolutely wonderful time. 3 days of sun and fun with her best friend and her best man. She had worn a red bikini that was a size too small. Abby had been jealous, and Henry had been wild about it. The perfect vacation.
That just sounds inconvenient.
It also doesn't sound much like a friend, honestly. It sounds like someone who you're just wanting to one-up all the...
No, there are friendships based on that kind of stuff.
That's not really a friendship, though, but
No, it technically is. I mean, it's the whole thing of the friendship born through competition.
Yeah, no, okay, I guess I can... Yeah, I can see that. That just...
Competitive relationships like that aren't a bad thing. It's when you take them too far that they are.
Yeah. Okay.
In the mornings, he and Edwards visited their bankers to deposit large sums of cash.
I slept in. I wouldn't know.
Don't lie to me. Tell me what you know about Rory Edwards and his business venture with Henry Archer.
I don't know anything, I tell you. Henry and Rory were just friends. That's all I know.
Andrew was nearly certain she knew nothing, but he had one last gambit to play. And then, perhaps, he could trust her and use her to help him find the real killer.
I have enough evidence to charge you with the murder of Henry Archer. You had access and motive. You have the skills and the desire. Tell me what I want to know.
And since prisons work off of a quota, believe me when I tell you that it could be quite easy to get you through.
Again. Prison song. System of a Down.
Motive? What motive would I have to kill Henry Archer?
His reconciliation with Callie Archer. He was leaving you for his wife. You couldn't stand the thought that he might dump you.
Leave me for his wife? Absurd.
Then you'd be out in the cold. Would your long legs and full body ever get you another man as rich as Henry Archer?
I mean, possibly, yeah.
You couldn't afford to lose him, but Rory Edwards is almost as rich. Did he put you up to this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Andrew took Irene by the arm, squeezing her with a strong hand. Her knees sagged as he shook her.
I'm talking murder, Miss Stevens. Cold-blooded murder, planned by his business partner and executed by his jealous mistress.
Irene burst into tears, and she wailed, I loved Henry.
You kind of cut out.
Yeah, okay. Irene burst...
You said Henry.
Okay, I loved Henry. I loved him so much.
Andrew stepped back. Even while crying, Irene Stevens was a beautiful woman. And, all his own instincts told him, innocent.
I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Stevens, and I'm sorry for putting you through that.
Are you? Irene Stevens turned away from him.
Damn you, she hissed.
Yeah, damn me. I'll find my own way out.
The door slammed, echoing through the cavernous emptiness of the apartment. Irene wiped the tears from her eyes. They had served their purpose. Andrew Vinnis was convinced she was innocent. And the plot thickens.
Was there ever really plot?
No.
Well, after this, I think I might need just a little... Just give me a sec.
Okay, I'm waiting. I'm Xing this off because I'm... Yeah.
Might just need a little bit of these. I'm telling you, products marketed specifically towards men are the most, insecure, vaguely homoerotic shit.
Yeah, probably.
Oh. But yeah, so I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom. Thank God this is over for.
And yeah, skate on rollerbladers. See you next time.